Have you ever felt so disappointed, so blue, so sad about a loss that you could just hardly function?
I know that when my younger brother died, it felt like there was a pain inside me that would never go away. And I thought at the time that that was the worst pain that I would ever feel in life until I got divorced. I carried around a feeling like I had been kicked in the stomach for 4 or 5 years. I would wake up to it every morning, I would carry it around all day long, and I would take it to bed every night. And it was relentless.
And for me, it was a deep pain in my chest that hurt so much I didn't know how I could possibly be living through it.
So the question, will I ever feel better? Well, I can tell you I feel a lot better now. I feel the best I've ever felt in my whole life. And I think Cathy could say something similar.
Yes, but when I was in it, if anyone told me that I would start feeling better someday, I could not fathom it. I could not even imagine it. But it was helpful to hear it.
The truth is, it depends an awful lot on your own decisions. And I'm talking about the decisions of which thoughts that come into your mind you want to keep and dwell on, and which ones you are more committed to letting go of. We also want to encourage you to the principle of radical acceptance. And radical acceptance means essentially that whatever your situation is now, you accept that that is your situation, not forever, but for the present, and that it's meant to be that way. So if you find yourself, in your 30s or 40s or 50s, divorced from someone you've been married to for a long time, as an example, you look at that as part of your path, rather than dwelling on thoughts like, it wasn't supposed to be this way. I didn't get married to get divorced. My life wasn't meant to turn out like this. Well, for one thing, think that through. It hasn't turned out at all yet. You're still young, you still have plenty of opportunities ahead of you, and things can still turn out differently than it might seem right now if you're in a place of sorrow or despair.
What about for someone who feels old?
What does that mean? I mean, people say you're as old as you feel.
Right, so that is a thought that's optional. And if you're feeling old, it still hasn't turned out. In fact, if you believe in life after this, it still hasn't turned out yet.
The answer depends on you. It depends on what you decide to do, what kind of a person you want to become. It's deciding, how do I want to show up in life? The self is a discovery to a certain degree, but it's also a creation. We have the opportunity through radical acceptance to begin with, and then intentionality in our thinking to bring more joy into our life. And that doesn't come from all the external sources. We want a nice car, or a great marriage, or beautiful kids, or whatever, because we want to feel certain things.
Keep in mind that your trials do not define you. You define you. Your thoughts define you, and ultimately creates the life that you're living.
Cathy, how long did it take for you to come to that realization?
Longer than I would have liked. But we've learned tools that we can help our coaching clients discover more quickly than we could, because those tools are so powerful in helping shift things faster than we can on our own.
One of those tools is our book, Intentional Courtship. It is not just a book about dating, it's also a book about recovering from loss, about personal development, about deciding how you intentionally want to show up in the world, as well as relationship development and how you're going to build a more beautiful relationship going forward because of who you're going to be and how you're going to show up.
Keep in mind that dwelling on the negative can steal our joy. I can look back on all the times when I was dwelling on the negative and how much I missed out on because it was stealing my joy.
A lot of you have kids. Have you ever bent down over your little baby's crib and looked at that sleeping child and you feel this love start to wash over you, and then you think, what if something happens to her? And instantly that steals your joy and you become anxious. And I heard Brené Brown talk about that. The idea I take from this thought experiment is that it's our thoughts that determine how we feel. And, our brain is 2 million years old or something, and it's always looking for what's wrong or what the dangers out there are. And so it's natural, if you really love this child, to stand over the crib and worry about what if something bad happens. But that steals our joy.
I was thinking before that thought came, before that story about the sleeping infant came, the fact of the sleeping infant and just being in the moment, enjoying that beautiful baby was so joyful.
So part of it is intentionally deciding to be in the moment and then questioning those unsupportive and negative thoughts that come into your mind. Is it likely something's going to happen to this baby? What is the real risk that something is going to go wrong with this child that I love?
And the truth is, most of the things we worry about aren't the things that will happen anyway. So we might as well enjoy what is while it is and take life as it comes. I just want to briefly touch with the subject of, will I ever feel better? And the answer being, it depends on you. About the fact that we have weight sometimes that we carry around, either in not forgiving someone for hurting us, or we have done something to someone else and we feel shame about it. And we're all human, and so we can accept that we're all human and have that thought be replacing the lack of forgiveness or the shame-based thinking. If we want to feel better, that's usually the way it helps me. Recognize that when you've forgiven others or you've forgiven yourself, that sometimes something might come up and trigger all those negative emotions, and it might come back and you might think, wait a minute, I did a lot of work on this. I thought I was over it. Usually if it comes up again, it's not because you didn't make progress. It just means there's another layer to heal, and that when it comes back up again, you're given the opportunity to put that rock, to put that weight back down.
It strikes me that maybe that's what Jesus Christ was talking about when he said that we need to forgive 70 times 7.
It might sometimes take that long to have it become a natural, automatic thing. It's something we at first have to do very thoughtfully and purposefully. If you've been watching our LilyTube videos or listening to our LilyPod podcasts, you'll know that we encourage the building of love in later years. And that's not only love for others and romantic relationships, but also love for ourselves and love for life in general. Now, when it comes to romantic relationships, we've also said quite often in our podcasts and videos that we believe very strongly that it takes a little bit of risk in order to enter into a romantic relationship. You cannot have love without it, because there's always a risk factor when you are offering your heart and when you are choosing to be vulnerable with someone, which is how we become connected to them.
That can be very hard, Cathy, when we've already been through a lot of emotional pain and may even feel, as you or I did, like, wow, the person who's known me the best for the last 15 years doesn't want me anymore. And that can really hurt.
One thought that actually helped me to get past that was that one person who rejected me, even if it might have been someone I was married to for 14 years, even though it was someone I was married to for 14 years and who was my entire world for all of that time, he's one person in billions of people. That doesn't make me unlovable. It just means that he made a choice. That's all it means. And so for me, that thought was much more supportive than the thought, I'm not lovable.
And so a lot of it is about those stories that we tell ourselves. Are we telling ourselves a story that is supportive, like the one Cathy told at the end, or the one she initially adopted?
Well, and I'd like to go back to risk, because the reason I brought that up is because even though we know love requires risk and we encourage you to be courageous and do it anyway, the unnecessary risks that I'm talking about are comparing ourselves to others, Because the only comparison we ever need to make is to who we were yesterday. Every day we wake up, we have choices, and we can grow. And comparing ourselves to other people just usually brings shame and pride and all sorts of ugly, negative, low vibrational emotions. The other unnecessary risk is when we give our power away. So if you go and be courageous and ask for a date, just make sure you're in the kind of position that you're in charge of your value. Your trials don't define them, and someone turning you down for a date does not define your value.
In fact, the weakness that many of us have is feeling like the opinion of another person defines us, as we've talked about in other contexts. When we're talking about asking someone for a date, we're in effect saying, you know, I think I might like you, and I think you would be an interesting person to get to know. And very often we interpret the response, if the person says no, as I'm sorry, but I don't feel the same way. And that can be very deflating. However, we have power to determine our own response to those things. And that includes the story we tell ourselves about it. One of the things we can adopt, as I've often heard Jody Moore say, is I'm not for everyone. I'm for someone, but I'm not for everyone. And if the other person has made a decision, as Cathy talked about, that I'm not the one for them, well, that doesn't decrease or diminish my own worth.
Just remember that how worthwhile I am, how worthwhile you are, does not depend on anyone else's choices. We can feel worthwhile as human beings because we are.
Sometimes the statement behind will I ever feel better again is kind of something like, what's wrong with me? Why am I not appealing enough? Why am I not good enough? Why did my boyfriend or girlfriend decide to break up with me when I was trying the best I could? There are so many thoughts like that, but our power is in the way we choose to process and understand all of these experiences.
And to accept and love ourselves no matter what. Although it's understandable to feel like might be something wrong with us when relationships don't work out, it isn't supportive to our highest good, and it's not accurate either. There's nothing wrong with you, we promise. And if you don't feel that, we can help get you unstuck from that kind of thinking.
And please don't think, when you think about coaching, that somehow needing to be coached or needing a coach means there's something wrong with you. All we're going to do is we're going to help you find those things that are truly brilliant and great about you and blow those up big so that your life becomes more beautiful and you achieve a greater degree of inner peace than perhaps you've ever felt before. So in answer to the question we posed at the beginning of this video, will you ever feel better? We believe you will. The answer depends on you, and if we can help, let us know.
And remember, any time is a great time for more love in your life.